Even now, my battle fleet masses near the planet you call Mars. When I give the signal, they will unleash their power, laying waste to your planet.
But first, hi, I'm Tommy, and I'm getting ready to go to Japan.
Hey, do you guys want to listen to some Japanese music with me?
No, Daddy.
Hey, I'm back in a small plastic chair in front of our television. And the Tokyo Sky Tree is back as well. It's, again, not the Tokyo Tower, but yeah, it's way back there. It's back there. Well, anyway, I do have an actual subject for this video. But I do have a special announcement first. And that is, it's November. Okay, I should have specified while I was saying that. November is the month that I'm recording this. But we've also determined that we will be taking our trip in November in a couple years, in November 2023. So that is when we'll be taking our trip. I think the cats are watching me. They're scheming against us. See, I get up for a second and boom, chair stolen. Yeah, we love the fall. It's a wonderful time of year that we don't really get here in Florida. So we figure that's going to be a really great time to not only get to experience a very different place, but to also experience a season we don't really get here. And also, Riley gets a thing off called Thanksgiving week, which really isn't a thing in Japan. So hopefully that's going to be a good time for us to go. Riley, are you excited about going to Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to go 2 years from right now.
Wow.
How old are you now?
Dad.
Not quite. That she thought I was asking her to do math, which I wasn't. It's just very exciting. We're making plans. There's still a lot of specifics to work out, but we have a timetable, and very excited, except for the cats who are actively plotting against us. So you may remember on my first video how I mentioned that I listened to what could only be described as a weird amount of Japanese music. And I think the way I got started listening to Japanese music is the way a lot of people do, at least people who live in countries other than Japan. And that's because of starting off with music from anime. Anime shows just have great openings, and that's sadly not really a thing here in America anymore. Of course, there are always exceptions to that. In fact, I think the single greatest piece of music ever created is the Gravity Falls theme song. I'm not kidding. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I simply do not think that any music ever created is better than the Gravity Falls theme. Nothing by Mozart, nothing by Beethoven, nothing by the Beatles, nothing by Queen, no music by John Williams, nothing by Kermit the Frog himself is better than the Gravity Falls theme song. Okay, I've gotten off subject. My personal favorite anime series is a show called Haikyuu. In fact, Haikyuu Tishatsu Okitemasu. See, I really am learning Japanese a little bit anyway. It's coming along. But yeah, Haikyuu is, my favorite anime series, and it has some of my favorite theme songs too, especially some by a couple groups. One is Burnout Syndromes, another one is Spy Air. Cats, you can't trust them. Some shows have theme songs that are just made by groups that seem to just exist to make theme songs for that show. A great example of that, I think, is Mob Psycho 100. Has great theme songs, but the name of the group that makes them is literally Mob Choir. So I'm guessing that they're just formed to make, Mob Psycho 100 theme songs. But I love those songs. And then another anime by the same creator. His name is One, and he's also the creator of One Punch Man. It has the first theme song to One Punch Man is by a group named Jam Project. And it has the best opening to a song ever. It's, if you haven't heard it, it's One Punch! Yeah. I like that one. Oh no, Tokyo is doomed! Doom! I think a big reason why I like Japanese music just in general is that it reminds me a lot of the music made during the 90s, which I personally think is the best era for music ever. Another thing I think I like about it is that it just, in Japan, I think is seen it really as a very rigid society. And you really get a sense of, with the music, it's really something that's breaking free within it. So I think that's something that I like about it too. And I think my personal favorite Japanese musical group is a really great example of that. Just to give you a little bit of background, of course, I've been researching for the trip for Japan lately, but sometimes I just kind of get curious about things sometimes. So it was a few months ago, I was kind of just curious about what it would be like to visit a Japanese grocery store. So I looked it up on YouTube and I found a video about that, and that just kind of led to me finding all these other videos about sort of mundane stuff about living in a place like Japan. So it turned out that first video was made by the creators of the YouTube channel Tabi Eats, and so that led to me watching some more videos both by them and by some other creators as well. And I, watching more and more stuff, things like, vending machines and convenience store taste tests, and just kind of ordinary sort of but fun things like that. A big thing that I really got interested though was with the public transportation system, in particular the trains. I mean, I love Japanese trains, so I'm really interested in that. Anything from the subways, the bullet trains, and especially that monorail that they have at Tokyo Disneyland with the Mickey Mouse handles and windows. One video suggested to me about train travel, so I checked that out, and it was it was a funny video, and I went to check some more videos by the same creators, and there were these other videos, and it was just kind of these sort of goofy introductions to things in Japan. And as I researched more, I actually found out that, because I wasn't really sure whether it was like a comedy troupe or, who it was that was making these videos. And it turned out it was actually, these videos were being made by a recording company that had signed this group in Japan. And this was sort of this group's introduction to American audiences, whereas through these, things about living in Japan. And then I checked out the music, and the first video I watched, and I mean, I was kind of blown away by it. I think my first reaction to it, I wrote to my wife was, I'm not sure if this is, amazing and weird or just weird. But as I checked out more and more, I mean, I just found that I liked them more and more. I'm starting to worry that Groot is on the cat's side. But anyway, so this name of this group was ATARASHII GAKKO no Leader. And they had been signed by an American group that kind of specializes in Asian and Asian American musical acts called 88 Rising. And so they were setting out to sort of introduce them to American audiences. Unfortunately, there was bad timing with them starting to do this because it happened right around when COVID was happening. So that had all the restrictions on crowds and on travel. So they weren't really able to come to the United States to travel or to tour or anything like that to put on performances here. But one thing that they did do is they put these performances online. These videos to go online, and I think it was partway through one of those live performances that I kind of went from someone who was being curious to actually being a fan. And the group's name was simplified a little bit for American audiences. It was shortened down to just ATARASHII GAKKO. The full name, ATARASHII GAKKO no Leader, means leaders of the new school, with ATARASHII meaning new, Gakko meaning school, and leaders, of course, meaning leaders. I think the word that would kind of confuse American audiences in there was no, because no, of course, means no to Americans. But when you're in Japanese, though, the no that's in there means of, and it kind of works backwards than of does in English. But that's one of the things I'm struggling with as I'm learning Japanese, is things not being in the order you're expecting. But yeah, so it was just cut down to ATARASHII GAKKO, so just new school. And of course, so if you were to look up ATARASHII GAKKO on Wikipedia, it would tell you that their genre is J-pop and jazz, and it makes sense, but I think that they should definitely include hip-hop in that as well. But if I would describe more their sort of energy than their style, I would probably call them more like punk rock theater nerds. And they talk about one of their big influences being the Beastie Boys. And a really cool thing that's happened recently is they've been recording songs that are produced by Money Mark, who is the keyboardist on some of the Beastie Boys' best known songs like Sabotage and Intergalactic. And like wearing the school uniforms, it kind of seems a little gimmicky. And it's kind of something you have to maybe work your way past at first when you're starting to listen to them. But it's really, the thing I kind of think about with them is that, you know, they're wearing school uniforms. They're not wearing schoolgirl outfits. And it's kind of a small, but I think it's an important distinction. Because it's representing something. It's representing, you know, their unity as a group. So just recently, I mean, we're talking like the day before I recorded this, they actually finally had their first live performance in front of an American audience. It was also the biggest audience they've ever performed in front of, and it was amazing. They did a great job. And you know, one of the things that they did during the performance is they had it was kind of half tribute, half cover of the Beastie Boys song Intergalactic. And, you know, I think it was a great way to introduce them. And so it included both their own sort of Japanese lyrics, but also some of the original English lyrics. And I think there's something sort of powerful about, you know, them wearing an outfit that kind of has certain connotations for people. But, you know, one of the English lyrics that they used in the song was, "Don't tell me to smile." So as for what this means for our trip to Japan, you know, I'm looking forward to kind of easily getting merch for some of these musical groups that I really enjoy. I'm extremely jealous that people in Japan can, you know, walk into their equivalent of a Five Below and get an official ATARASHII GAKKO glasses case. So hopefully there'll be stuff like that when I go there. Maybe if I can get to a performance of some kind when I'm there. Of course, by then, for all we know, ATARASHII GAKKO could be selling out stadiums in America. You know, I mean, stranger things have happened, right? So, thank you for watching. You know, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching these videos. And we have survived the cat's onslaught for now. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really hope that I'll get some feedback. I really want to get better at making these, so I appreciate any comments. And you know, if you are enjoying it, please let me know that too, or you know, let me know how I can get better, because I want to get better at this. My hope is that by the time I'm in Japan, I'm going to be, you know, making some great videos like the ones that I watch myself already. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll try to come up with something new pretty soon. Thank you.